you. Thanks, Seth. Adorama, thank you, Teresa, for having me. Yeah, I got a passion for this stuff. You know, education is great. This technology keeps evolving and changing, and you got to be green and growing, and you got to understand the tools that you're using, because I hate to give it up just to technology, you know? So that's what I'm here for. I'm going to do a lighting demo. I believe lighting is still a valuable craft to learn, still super important. Even though the cameras today can shoot in pretty much near darkness, it's about quality of light. And when someone commissions you or hires you, you want to make sure that you're delivering on that quality of light, capturing them both in their best light, figuratively and literally. So, like Seth says, I've been doing this since high school, right? Since the 80s. Been blessed. I've worked in editorial. I worked at the Chicago Sun-Times for 15 years, photographed for Time, Newsweek, Sports Illustrated, you name it, I've done it. And it's great, and I'm always learning, always evolving. And when new technology comes out, you know, I like to bounce it. Seth gets really into the tech. It may seem geeky and technology-wise that we're all about the gear, but the gear is what allows you to bring that vision to life that you have in your mind. And the more you could exploit this technology, the better pictures you can create. Now, when you're just starting out, sure, you could kind of give it up to technology, but really start embracing what you need to learn from it. These things are computers now, and the lighting is amazing. Learn what you need. Don't feel that you need to learn every button, every feature, because it's just overwhelming. Learn what is going to work for you and exploit that. So, going back, old stories, things like that. I photographed Michael Jordan's entire career. Traveled with the Bulls, all that stuff. A lot of fun. What I learned from him is he could fly, right? He could take off at the top of the key. He has the longest hang time ever. Yeah, forever. You know that shot, The Move, where he's driving and he's playing against the Lakers and he goes up with the right hand, and as he's coming down, he's switched to the left? I'm the only guy to get that shot from the front. So I got it. Manual focus, 85 1.8, old Canon F1. Anyways, what I learned from Michael is when you travel with him, Kobe Bryant learned his work ethic from Michael. You show up early. You check out the space you're in. He would dribble the ball literally all over the floor. He'd shoot free throws. He'd shoot from the three-point line. And we were the smaller competing newspaper in Chicago, the Sun-Times. We weren't the behemoth like the Chicago Tribune. It's kind of like the New York Post or the Daily News versus the New York Times. So if he stubs his toe and can't play in the game that night, that's big news. So if he's there, I'm there, competitive. And finally, you get to become acquaintances. And I'd say, Michael, you know, you could fly. Why are you here before anybody else? And why do you push so hard on the other guys? And he said he learned from his coach, I think it was Dean Collins in North Carolina, Dean Smith. Yeah, you show up, you practice, you make the shot there, and you're setting yourself up for success. So then when it comes crunch time, you're looking for that big moment to capture, you've already made the foundation. You've already got your basics. So the way I equate that is your settings. You walk into a space. Every space has its tone, color, light. What do you want to do with it, right? We do crazy events. I do still politics, corporate, a lot of big crazy weddings. So we light everything. I'll run through a few examples. Yeah, go ahead.
Vanessa Joy says hello.
Hey, Vanessa. All right, wrong one. Say hi to Vanessa. I got a PDF here. Here we go. So this is stuff we do. So when we have a team, we show up for a big gala, we rehearse before the event. So we need to know, hey, our client doesn't like to wait for us to move lights. So there's times where we will pre-light multiple scenes. So people say, well, why do you run around sometimes with 300 pounds worth of gear? Well, it's my client does not want to wait, or the event planner does not want to wait. So we'll rehearse, we'll pre-light each scene, we'll walk through it. And sometimes I'm using Canon, Westcott, and occasionally ProPhoto, because you just have those systems that I've collected over the years, and my brain could rationalize and work through them all, so that's what we use. 90% of everything now I use is Westcott. And if you have any questions about any specific group, I'll tell you why, right? Why I use it. Westcott, for now, with Canon, works great in TTL, manual, and each light is truly independent, meaning I could put any light in 7, 8 different groups in any mode, turn them on, turn them off, turn the power up, change it to TTL, whatever you want to do. A lot of other systems really don't have that independence. Flashpoint does, ProPhoto doesn't. ProPhoto locks things in, like A, B, and C are linked. They're either all TTL or all manual. D, E, and F are all manual and not TTL. Well, what if you're in a crunch and in a hurry and you need the D light to be TTL, right? Sometimes that happens, especially in event photography, where things are constantly moving. So we'll create a rehearsal guide, things like this. This is a technique that I've developed going back to Vivitar 283s with optical triggers and 20-foot long PC sync cables, that 3 lights really work. And instead of having a dome, we used to take quart milk bottles, which were frosted, cut the bottoms off and gaff tape them to a 283, right? It worked. Same quality of light. This is convenient though, you know, Magmod, gels, or whatever you want to do. Quick and convenient. But this is a technique called the triangle of light. So we set up 3 lights in independent groups. So, and we're going to do a live demo of it, but I'm just laying the foundation for you. Groups B, C, and D are always the same. In fact, I label each light so that we don't have to think. And we have a team of photographers. Oftentimes we'll have 3, 4 photographers at an event. All shoot the same way, and they all have to have their own set of lights because each light cannot respond to multiple senders at the same time, right? So with this rig we've got here, we can put 4 different lights on it. There we go. So there's 3 cold shoes on it and 1 in the center. So it's great so that you don't overpopulate a space if multiple photographers are shooting. So by having, it's basically 3-point portrait lighting, but exploded outward to cover an event space. Sometimes the on-camera flash is more than a trigger, it's contributing. That's the one I always want for TTL. 99% of the time my off-cameras are manual for consistency's sake. But I get excited, as you can see, and I walk around, I might move too close, and that's where I need TTL, right? Because I'll forget where it was manually. But if I'm stationary, my subject is stationary, then I lock everything in manual, right? For consistency's sake. So this is just a few examples of what we mean by the triangle of light. You know, this client, we did an outdoor session, we did a private step and repeat with a private portrait backdrop, and then we did the main event, right? And everything we color match because these are designer clothes. So the designers want to see good photos. The client loves designer clothes, so you need the color tones to be true and flesh tones to be true. So the easiest way to do that is to get neutral color. So we're going to balance our lights to match the dominant tone in the room. And it's easier than ever. You don't have to pull a Polaroid anymore. You don't have to carry a bunch of different film, but you can go with mirrorless and see it live. What you see is what you get. You could dial color in, pull up the RGB histogram, and boom, you're 99% there, right? So this gala we do twice a year, but we'll rehearse with the team that's with us. You know, we do remote cameras, put a camera inside their carriage, we light that, we light the grand exit, entrance, all of this. Nothing is just one on-camera flash. You couldn't pull off this layered light look with one on-camera or bounce flash, right? It's layers of light. All right. All good so far? All right, let's get this thing started up, heated up here. We'll figure out the tone of the room. I practiced the tether. Let's make sure it all works now. Can't be established. Close all the other apps. Yeah, I hate that, right? Why does it do that? You got to close every app now to get the tether to work. Okay. Yes.
I believe in you, Bob.
Yes, quit. Shouldn't it just work? Right?
Why would anything just work?
And this is real life. This is what happens. You're on a shoot. That's why you practice before you go.
What are you tethering into?
Oh, now it doesn't even want to go here. What's it not liking now? So this Canon R1, and it's got to go into, it doesn't have to, but it's been easiest to go right into EOS Utility for the handshake. It's been the most stable, but we'll see. We'll start it up again.
There's a question in the chat.
What's up?
How many photos do you normally take at a wedding, and how many do you send to clients?
Oh, man. Well, that varies. How many photos do we take at a wedding, an event, and what do we give to the client? We're going to call it, give them the very best. So we do 12 to 14-hour days. That's usual. So we're only going to deliver anywhere from 1,000 to 1,400 images, depending on how many photographers at the event. Almost all of our events are 3 photographers. So if you give them 800 photos, the mental perception is like, oh, there was 3 guys running around here for 12 hours, giving me, 800 images. So then we're going to go a little bit higher, right? But we're not going to go for a lot of repetition. We're going to take the best from every scene, edit it, call it, and deliver that. And I'm not getting a handshake. Let me unplug the cable and replug it in. It was charging. Come on.
You guys have any
You
questions?
saw me. We tested this.
You guys have any questions? Of course. There we go.
What's up?
Yeah, Rich, say hypothetically speaking, you don't have a Westcott or a Pro Photo. What do you do in events, or if you got any like you said those are the best for like connections with a Canon? But say if you don't have that, say if you have a Canon or a Godex.
Yeah, whatever you got and whatever you could afford, right? That's what it is. Light is light. So you have to find, there's so many great systems that are out there. You just have to use the one that's right for you. So what I encounter often is radio frequency interference. Everything is wireless. So I have to find something, try a different cable. It was working. I have to find a communication system that's going to be reliable no matter what venue I'm in and what I face. So it used to be Canon, the EL1s, they were great. And then along came 5G phones and it killed them. The EL1s will not function, they wouldn't work in here, right? There's just too much RF in the area. So then I went to ProPhoto. ProPhoto has a rock solid, now I did a stint with Godox and Flashpoint when they first came out. But what I was encountering is if you don't have all the exact same units, now this was about 6-7 years ago, if you were mixing their speed light with the AD200, not the AD200 Pro or anything like that, but that model, they would arbitrarily start changing their mode and flash output. And doing that rabbit hole research on technology, you find out that they're creating their own RF. Now, if you got all the same AD200s and a transmitter, it worked. The minute you put on that speed light, they would arbitrarily, one of them would go from TTL to manual, or one of them would go from an 1/8 power to full power. And you have to reboot the whole system. Well, if you're constantly doing that throughout the night, you are now focused on the gear and not the event and not capturing moments. So again, ProPhoto didn't have independent groups. I was making that work, but it became a challenge. So sure, I could work around that. Then Canon comes out with the R5 Mark II, R1, R6 Mark II, where they went with the multifunction shoe. Right? I'm not trying to beat up on any brand at all. They're all great. But I'm telling you what works and doesn't work. The minute I go vertical in this fashion, without using an adapter, they've changed the hot shoe tolerances. And it doesn't stay seated tight enough, the A10s, right? So I lose TTL on my on camera. Oh, yes.
All right.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So that's a problem, right? Now it works if I go this way, but I ergonomically don't go that way, right? That feels really awkward. So again, I've come back to Westcott because TTL is dialed in and it works in all radio frequency environments that I photograph in, right? Great way to know this is if you go to a trade show, you're only going to see 2 flash companies demoing lights at a trade show. Profoto, and Westcott, right? Sorry, even Flashpoint at imaging, they weren't firing the flashes just because they were right across from the shooting bays of Profoto, and the amount of RF was just, he told me, he's like, I can't have more than one off camera here because of all the RF. And sure, if you're not in that situation, right, you're gonna do a barbecue, something like that, and you want one off camera flash, that might communicate just fine. You go to Times Square to do a shoot, and you have 2, maybe even 3 off camera, or just 1, you better have really reliable communication. All right. So my foundation is I got to find the tone of the room, right? And we're going to go right to the demo here. So let's start. Giselle, would you come on over here? Have a seat.
Round of applause for Giselle, please. Thank you.
Pull up the live view. Now you see this stuff in camera. And I have the red, green, and blue active in camera. You can see it on the screen, the RGB levels. All that's telling you is the information. Anything to the right means you have a lot of it. Anything to the left, you have less. So I always start off in daylight white balance. I live in Kelvin because Kelvin, I could dial in the precise color temperature. If you're not familiar with Kelvin, it's something to play with. We could go to the preset. And when you say daylight, it's telling you it's approximately 5,200 degrees. That's how you could learn Kelvin. Because this is our baseline, right? So now, if we take a frame, and it populates here, there we go. I will, yeah, there we go. Now, we could pull up the RGB level, and it's telling me it's too warm, right? I do this before I put the flashes on, before I do anything in every shoot, in every environment. So we have a lot of warmth, right? So if I go to Kelvin, and I'll pull up the live view. Here we go. I'm going to change it. So we're going to go right to tungsten first, just to see, right? Am I in the tungsten color space, which is 32, which is too blue, right? We're mix.
Mix, that's tungsten and that's daylight.
Right? You can see the blue channel now is gone further to the right than the red. So we're somewhere in the middle. The drawback with auto white balance, which if we put auto white balance on, it's going to work. And if we hit info and we go bias to the white, now we have everything pretty much in alignment. See, the RGB levels are near equal in length. I don't know what that color temperature is. And as I change my composition, that white balance changes. So if I go wider, we're taking in more color temperatures from these various lights, right? So now you got to make a decision. What are we going to do? Are we going to light it? Or are we going to shoot available light? Well, this is a lighting demo, so I'm going to light it. And I'm going to choose Kelvin, and I'm going to choose 2900, right? And the reason being is we'll go both ways. Is I've already set up these Westcott lights with gels, right? They already have tungsten. 99% of the environments that I find myself in, even if they are LED lights or FLV bulbs, they're tungsten because that's the color temperature people are used to seeing. So I just cut some CTO gel, MagMod mag beams, pop them on here. We'll fire these bad boys up. We'll just do it in TTL really quick, down and dirty. So this is my group C, which is on the wrong side. When I set up my triangle of light, B, C are always, B is always on the left, C is always on the right, so I never have to think. D is my backlight. So come over here. This is D. So D, I'm going to bring it way back here, right? Because when I need it, I'll be right there.
Someone make sure no one steals that or thinks it's a display. Thanks, Bob. Thanks.
I told you I was going to be all over the place.
I know you're going to be all over the place.
All right. Now we really have our independent groups. This is C and B, right? So then we're going to do it for an event photography. But what I want to get to you is with the independent groups, we could do anything we want. Yeah. And 90% of everything that I photograph at events, it is direct flash. Because if we bounce flashes in an event space, we're bathing the entire space in light. And we're going to take away any ambiance. Like this is lit for a specific reason. And my goal is to complement the light that's already there. We just want to add that kiss of light to capture a person in their best possible light. So I'm going to take the Westcott FJX3M. I've already set my channels up. So I'm on channel 25, all the lights.
You have a white balance question.
Oh, white balance, yeah.
Someone in the chat's asking, why not just shoot raw and adjust it in post?
Why not just shoot raw and adjust it in post? Because I've worked for editors my whole life. And right now I have my most crucial editor. That's my wife. Very critical. She does all of our post-processing. So if I said to her, hey, honey, you fix it in post, she'd wring my neck. No editor wants to fix it in post, right? They'll refine, right? If you get it 99% right in camera, then your workflow on the back end is so much faster. I'd rather be networking out, having fun, working to build business versus working on editing and color correcting and fixing our exposures, right? All right, so everything is in TTL. I don't need group D active, which is in the back, but we're gonna do both B and C. All right. All right, Giselle, do you have a favorite side? I always like to ask, most women have a favorite side. Yeah, okay. So what that's telling me is we could open it up. So I'm gonna take my B light and drop it, my C light and drop it down, right? I'm gonna just use it as a fill. So I'm just doing everything TTL at first, -3, and we're gonna leave B as the main light. So can you turn your hips a little bit that way? Yep, and then glance back toward me slightly. Good. There we go. All right. So we'll pop up the image, which is there. Here's the available light, incorrect color balance. Here's the light. Now, I judge exposure by the histogram, RGB values, right? It's hot. I don't guess by looking at the LCD screen and say, oh, wait a minute, I could fix that later. We could shoot to the right. No, that's not my vision, right? So I'm gonna take just my ISO, everything was manual. I'm gonna drop my ISO to 100. But what's gonna happen if I do that? You guys following along? What are the lights? Aren't they in TTL? Won't they just follow? Right? So even though I've dropped the ISO, because we're in an automatic setting with the lights, we have nearly the exact same exposure. Right? So when you do stuff like that, remember you have to either adjust flash exposure compensation or go to manual, right? But for this purpose, I'm just gonna stay in TTL. So then I just go over to flash exposure compensation and I lower the light. Here we go. And this is where we were striving. Now we got a lot of purple going on, right? So I'm too cool, right? So that's telling me I would have dialed this all in before we had our talent or our subject sit down and say, we're getting a lot of cross blending between the lights that are here and my lights. So the only thing we could do now is eliminate all the ambient light, right? So I'm gonna set up my settings. We'll go 2/50th of a second, F4, and we're gonna take a frame without the flash because I wanna make sure I'm not getting any of the ambient light. We still got a little bit of blue, see that?
Someone's asking why you use Photo Mechanic.
I use Photo Mechanic because it's fast. It's the fastest for culling and for just previewing and editing. It's worked for me since I've started shooting digital. It doesn't do any editing. I don't need it to edit the image. If you photograph into Lightroom or any program that you're gonna edit, it's a little bit slower because it has to build the image in the background to allow you to edit it. I'm not looking to put a preset on it or anything. I'm just looking to shoot and see it straight. All right, so we still have a little bit of blue, so I'm gonna go up to 5.6 or 6.3. Let's just go 6.3. And then we're gonna extrapolate this out because I want a black frame. completely black. So no blue in the clothing, right? We're good to go. And a little hint on her shirt is still picking up, but that shouldn't give us any color shift. So now we'll put the lights back on, still in TTL, just to see what we're getting here. Because oftentimes TTL is great for working quickly. And there we go. So we've eliminated that purple. Now it's like cooking. You have to decide, is this really gray or is there some warm tones in it, right? Well, I think there's some warm tones in it. Now, for things like this, I often get the question, why don't you just do a custom white balance? In my experience, whenever I've done a custom white balance, it removes her color in her flesh tone. It neutralizes all the color, but we are all different tones and shades of color, right? And we want to do that. So if you get the tonality of the color, the RGB in near equal length, flesh tones will fall because you're going to have neutral color, right? So I'm just going to tweak the color. So it's a little bit warm. Our red channel is going to the right. So let's cool it off. So I'm as cool as I could go. Get it level, will you? And let's turn off C altogether. We're just gonna have one light. Nice, a little bit moody. Ah, but look at that terrible shadow. Giselle, would you turn and look toward that light, please? Thank you. Beautiful, good. So we're getting still a little purple, but now that's the light bouncing on the background. But the white here is neutral, right? Everything else is there. So that's the color that's in the scene. And we're not going to dial that in any better than that, right? Questions before I evolve this and move on? Yeah? No? Good? All right. Now, again, another reason I like these Westcott brackets is, let's say you're out on a shoot. We're going to take the gels off because we've got more mixed light in here than dominant tungsten. I'm going to rip the gel off of this one. And then we'll go back to daylight. And the reason I like this, the spheres is you'll see when we light this whole space up that the light spills out. So it's not as directional and linear. So you still get enough spread to the sides that it will contribute to the scene. And then you combine that with an on-camera flash in an event, and you have beautiful, beautiful light. So let me share a few examples with you. Any questions while I pull that up?
No, but while he's pulling it up, you guys should hit like in that chat. Bob needs the validation. Look at this guy. Look at his face. Hit like. Hit subscribe if you're new here.
Here we go. Lighting. All right. So these are all lit, right? This is the triangle of light. This is 3 lights around the room. This room is a warm tone candlelight tungsten lighting. While I'm going to show you a bunch of wedding examples, this technique could be used for anything. I still do a lot of press conferences because they're bread and butter shots. And I'll show up and I'll light a press conference, and I could charge a little bit more for it because my pictures look different. Even though sometimes they bring in guys to throw light panels up, they're not lighting guys. They're just putting light in the scene so people can see. So oftentimes that light is not flattering on the subject. You bring in the triangle of light, it's quick, boom, you're good to go. So for this, I turned off the on-camera flash and I turned off my D group. So it's just B and C and then the light in the environment, right? So it gives you all kinds of depth and dimension. And these are all manual off-camera and on-camera TTL. 99% of the time, I start off at 1600 ISO, 1/8 power on all the lights, and TTL on camera. And everything is direct. If I bounce flash in this space, right, it would take away the ambiance. If you turn the heads upward, you're going to bathe the entire space in light, and you lose all that feeling. Same with this. If you turn all the lights up and they bounce off the ceiling, we'd lose that they had some gels going on, right, in the black, blue background or the candlelight. This is, we were lighting a cocktail party with A-list celebrities in Phoenix, Arizona, outside underneath a trellis. So direct flash, right? But we're blending that with the lights that is there. This place was a cave. This was a camera. I always set up a time-lapse camera to get an overall view on a light stand, right? So it's just capturing, it's 10,000 ISO, it's crazy. But these are the photos I'm creating, right? That's the triangle of light, right? 2 side lights in the back. On camera was inactive. The D light from the back of the room was lighting it up. That's where independent groups is so important, no matter what brand, because then I could say, hey, B and C, instead of an 1/8 power, I need you at a 32nd, and the back one's gonna be a 1/4, right? Because it's lighting their faces. And there was so much white in here that by rim lighting them from the sides, the lights weren't pointed at them. The lights were pointed back straight, but that spill light from the side is what's giving us the illumination on the side of them, like it's rim lit, right? Now, some people say, well, why don't, and here, can I zoom in? Yeah, there's the lights right there. There's 2 lights there because it was myself and Larry Remaker, our second photographer. He has his own set of lights, right? So he set that up and go. Same thing, here you could see the lights as they're recessing out. Now that's when you need that on-camera flash, right? Because they're gonna keep walking toward me and eventually they're gonna walk out of what we'll call the triangle of light zone. But we're still getting rim lit. But what's nice is in a super dark environment, it gives layers of light of people in the background. So it doesn't look like direct on-camera flash, right? Color balanced, everything's tungsten, a little bit of fun, right? Here's the D light in the back of the room. This was just in May. And it's that Hail Mary, but now it's even easier than ever because you got the articulated LCD screen and you're not guessing. So you put on the face head eye detection. Oh, I can't turn the screen. There we go. And then you could boop, get anything you want, right? You could see and shoot. That's how this shot is done. Dawn did the editorial choice, calling it black and white. She felt it was a good black and white moment. But this is all 4 lights, on camera and 3 off, on camera TTL. All right, so let's have a little fun with Giselle. Questions, thoughts? Right, here's a good example of how we did that. Yes, sir.
I take it that when you are using the on camera, that would be what you're calling the A group, because that's
Correct. Correct. The on camera, except for ProPhoto, is always going to be an A. So Canon, Godox, Flashpoint, Jinbei, Westcott. The on camera is always in group A. ProPhoto allows you to make the transmitter, we'll call it, and there is a mode transmitter only. If you're using the ProPhoto A system, be sure and put it in transmitter only. This was a big request from me because it used to be when the A1s first came out, I was shooting, I'm like, why am I getting this weird underlight? Because my second body was firing too. The flash was going off. And then after a lot of, convincing, they came out with a firmware update that gave you transmit only. And it allows you to put any transmitter in any group. But just remember, even though you have your slide switch on the side of the A's in TTL, if you put that on camera in group D, E, or F, it's manual, right? It's just keeping those fundamentals straight. It could be A, B, C, and it's TTL, right? Just so you're aware of that. All right. Let's get the camera. Why did it die? I didn't turn it off. Here we go again. Love it. All right, I'll quit this. I think that's the only app. Quit that. Turn that off. Do this. Boom. See, shouldn't tethering be just plug it in and it works?
It depends on the program.
But I'm going right into Canon. Canon's doing the handshake.
Capture one guy.
Come on.
Let me see about-
I don't know. Communication with the camera can't be established. What the heck?
What else do you have open?
Nothing now. Oh, wait. Preview.
That'll do it.
Quit everything.
All right. There's a question in the
right.
chat. How effective is that camera in the back of the room, and how much do all the chairs and people in between matter?
So the light in the back of the room is as effective as you decide you want the look to be. That's where it's beautiful. You can communicate with that group independently, bring it up or bring it down, and you decide how you want that look to be. And that's what we're going to demo next, right? So you can have it just a slight bit or a lot. I believe that layer, especially in a venue, if there's a speaker or whatever, they're properly lit, we'll say, and the background is really dark. So I like to do an over-the-shoulder shot, and if you're photographing so that you can see the crowd, if it just goes into darkness and then you have these spots here, you know, it's okay. But if you put that kiss of light and it puts a rim light around all the heads, well, we've had great response from our clients for that, both weddings or corporate. So let's see. Launch it again. That do it? That answer a question? Come on, man. Giselle, you want to put the sweater top on? If we get this to go. What the heck? Oh, I don't know why. So one last thing. Ready? This is going to kill it. I can restart, right?
Yeah. I just don't know why it was all right before.
Yeah, it just decided to stop.
Connect.
Yeah, we're messing with. Yep, got the right cable. We switched cables, so I'll restart it.
You guys are any questions in this crowd while Bob has a meltdown?
It's layers of light. Yes, sir.
Situation where you had like mixed lighting, you had to adjust your light.
That's what we're doing right now.
Okay.
So if you saw at the beginning, I call it finding the tone of the room. Computer's up, and I could talk while we're doing this. So I would have done that testing before the event started, before my subject came, so I'd know. We have all the mixed lighting in here, so we have to go with the dominant color temperature of the room. So I thought it would have been tungsten, but because it was such a mix, we were getting that purple cast. We have more daylight balanced light in here than we do tungsten light. So I pulled the tungsten gels, and that's when I changed the white balance to daylight. All right, let's see what this does. The cable's working because the camera is charging. Yep. Now let's launch it. And I tend to not try and overpower the light in the space. And I'll show you here. This is lit, right? There's a look here that we want to show. We want to show all these lights behind. And we're going to have Giselle here. We're going to light her from the front. What the heck? The server. Oh, that's a server. That's. Oh, man. Destination. That's all set. Yep. Okay.
Good.
Turn the camera on. Cross your fingers. Don't bump the cable. There we go. We're in. All right.
Now, everyone clap.
All right.
Hey, again,
Hey. That's what I mean.
you
Plug
got to
and play.
celebrate the little things.
All right.
You,
So we're just going to go 1000 ISO. And again, I'm going to check our tone of the room, so to speak. And we're going to go daylight.
do you want to put on that blue light over the crowd or not?
Yeah, I like the blue light in the crowd.
Tell me if that's too much.
No, that's cool. So let's pull up. Oh, where'd you go? It just dropped off. I think it doesn't. Oh, there we go. Okay. There we go. All right, I like to, again, have the RGB. We're changing up a new scenario, right? So we've got blue channel going a little bit to the right, but that's because we have blue in the scene. Remember? Yeah, we're good? Okay. Now, if this was an actual event that I was photographing, all right.
This is an actual event.
It
Thank you
is.
very much.
You know what I
in
mean?
the event
Getting paid
space,
for it.
Bob.
So
Some
here's my
respect.
sea light. And again, the reason I like the domes for this scenario is it doesn't need to be pointed directly, oh man, we gotta make it pointed directly at her and all that. We can just finesse it, right? Because we get enough spill. So B and C. Oh, okay, I'll move it. Sorry, I don't know where all your cameras are. Is that one up over there? All right, this one's here. Now, we're gonna take the transmitter off. Just to show you, you can use the speed light. So I'm gonna test all my lights. D is on. And another way to know if your lights are communicating is just hit the modeling light, right? Boom, we can hit the modeling lights on them. I don't leave modeling lights on in a venue space because it gets annoying to guests, especially if it's candle lit and low lit. Oh, why isn't B? There we go. Okay. Now we're going to use all the lights. So they're at an 8th power.
They're asking you what your metering mode is.
Yep. Metering mode is full 5-zone evaluative. What was nice when you would use Canon strobes, which again, if I wish Canon would license this technology out, is with Canon native, they have tied the active focus mark into TTL. So the TTL is just crazy accurate. So if you have base head eye detection on with an EL1, then wherever is in focus with that focus point is biasing your flash and it blends the light beautifully. Yes. Good call. I was going to wait and see if anybody picked it up in the photo. Good call. No, that's all right. So I was going to shoot with the tungsten gel on here just because I want you to see mistakes, right? When you're in the field and things are happening quickly, all of a sudden you're going to look at your photo and say, why is her flesh tone blue? You have to think, oh, wait a second, check my gels, right? So you caught it right away. Yes.
So what you're describing, every brand has, they call it something different, but they can tie the subject detection to basically a spot metering to prioritize the subject for TTL.
Yeah.
Yeah, so.
And there is no more, so DSLRs used to have active spot metering, especially the flagship cameras, meaning wherever your active focus point was, it would spot meter off of that. I don't know if Nikon does it, but Canon mirrorless, the spot meter is always in the center, even on the R1. It does not follow the active focus point for spot metering.
Maybe I can, but
No, Canon doesn't. Yeah, yeah. All right, so we're gonna come back, and it died again. What the heck does it keep dropping for?
so
I'm not bumping the thing.
someone's asking, how do you get, for example, to use flashes at a corporate event? Any tips?
Sure, at a corporate event, the way we use light is they've seen our portfolio, right? And these, by, again, going direct, high ISO, 1600, 2500, 3200 if you must, it's just a kiss of light. And I've not had an objection, ever. They've seen our work, our portfolio, and that's why they're hiring us, right? Once in a while, I'll have the communications team come in when we're doing our lighting test and they're lighting the podium. And I'll fire the flash. She goes, oh, I don't know if I like that flash. I said, okay, cool. You stand at the podium. Let me take a shot of you, just the light that you've done, and then with the triangle of light. And 99% of the time, their lights are up high, pointed down, and their CEO, if it's a man or a woman, is going to have raccoon eyes, right? Because it's overhead lighting. It's not really aimed flatteringly. They just put light in the space. And then I show them what our shot looks like, and they're like, oh, cool, that's not obnoxious. They're picturing big pops of light. And like I said, that's the only pushback I've ever had. And then once they see the image, they go with it, right? We just did a big corporate event, and they had the Black Eyed Peas and will.i.am, and they're going into the crowd. I had 100% access, so I'm on stage with the CEO and them, and I wasn't using the on-camera flash, but the two rim lights here were giving them such great side lighting, and then I was using the main spot for the theatrical to light them, and it blended great. And I took a few frames, of course, just all available light, and it just didn't have that depth. Right, Giselle, we'll get you in the center here. Let's get back to RGB. I don't want to make anybody sick here. Right, our RGB is good. All right, so you can work it a little bit. There you go. Come on, walk toward me. There you go. Yeah, have fun. Walk to me, look over at me. Yep, good. Oh, it dropped. Should I try the other cable?
It's a cable. It's,
I don't think it's the cable. It's,
it shows the computer on your thing, right?
yep. No, it keeps dropping again. Let me move it. I'll just shoot from the tripod. I think I'm jiggling it or something. That's the only thing I could think of.
The other option is I can run HDMI to your camera, but I think is that full HDMI?
Yeah.
You can do it if you want to do it as a playback thing. Oh no, you're up.
All right, let's pull up those images. We'll do it again. Here we go. Not going to move. Oh, wait. Hold on. I got to change one setting. I had no subject detection. And here we go. Good. Now subject detection is on. Good. Where's my focus? There it is. All right. Okay.
Took the shot.
It took it.
Is it going into?
Oh, okay. Preferences. Is it zeroing out the preferences each time? Oh, it says busy. So it's downloading. Something's going on. This is, of course. I know I felt for you when I see you at WPPI and stuff you're doing like this and this shit happens. Sorry. Oh, hey,
You're crashing, you're cursing. What are we doing?
I don't know.
What is this?
I don't know.
Well, we paying this guy with something.
Right? It's spinning and spinning and spinning. Do. Ah, let's see if it sent him to the computer. Nope.
Well, you're in, so go.
Yeah, but it's still locked up.
It's still thing.
Yeah, and it's not writing.
Memory cards in there?
Yeah.
Yeah, take the memory cards out. It'll bypass that and probably go right.
Yeah, now it's
Oh no, it's
oh, it was the cable. See it just whoop. Okay. One more time. I got the charge.
I don't know if it was the cable, was it?
Hold on.
Sorry guys online.
There we go. I'm just gonna do a quick hit just to see. And I gotta relaunch it again. It dropped.
You got a light room or something?
There we go. Shoot. Perfect. All right. Make sure. Preferences. Shooting. Destination. Yep. Okay. One more time. Just hold still for 1 second. Just make sure this is going to stay tethered. What is this instant stuff? Okay. Believe me, I rehearsed all this stuff. Oh, man.
You want to just go into the light room?
Yeah, I could do that. It's not photo mechanic. This is a DPP thing. So let me just do a DPP. Dying over here.
All right, this is a software conflict. The guy's talking about cables in the
Right.
chat. It's connected. It's not importing. It's not the cable. It's seeing it's a connection. So there's just something grabbing the tether. There's two things grabbing the tether at the same time, and it doesn't know what to do.
Yep. So I'm just going to do straight DPP, which works fine.
Because if you haven't noticed, Bob likes to tinker,
Hey,
and he makes a
I
lot
thought
of
I had
things.
it all worked out.
It's all right. It's all right. If you are watching this and you have never had tether problems, you're not even shooting. I don't know what to tell you.
Right? I'm going to try one more.
Hold on. You gotta
Oh.
enable the security. The security.
No, I told you not. Oh. Forgot to change one other preference.
Micah, he
Please.
rebooted it already. Please. It's you have 20,000 people
I know.
troubleshooting that aren't in the room. It's not gonna help. It's not.
Linked software. Here we go. DPP.
So anyway, lighting. You guys have any questions in this room while we do this? All
There we
right.
go. I fired. Oh, it's still going back. Linked software.
Do you want to just run it there, Lightroom?
One last thing.
Lightroom, or it could just run the HDMI out of your camera.
Yeah, but it won't show.
It'll show playback. You know what I'm saying? Oh, you want live view?
Yeah.
They're asking what DPP is.
Digital Photo Professional. It's all Canon software. Usually, again, it's the most stable. Here we go. Good. Now we got it. All right.
Everybody here has legally agreed to their photo taking because they're sitting in that space with there's a sign to this side. I don't want to hear anything. You having a good
So-
hair day? I haven't. I'm not.
Our color balance is good. That's dialed in. And I'm going to make one change. I could tweak this light because it's directly behind Giselle. We want a little bit of side light. Because again, all this stuff is worked out before the event. I'm never tweaking lights once we're done. And all the D light is a little separation. Because I don't like seeing the D light in the corner up there, on the corner right. Good deal. And now I hope I could just move. Everything stay connected. Come on. All right, Giselle, you can walk toward me. Cool. Now,
You guys can clap for the tether.
right?
Clap for the tether.
The tether's working. Now we're going to turn off all the lights and just do on camera so you can see what's going on here with the difference. And then we're going to turn off the on camera, right? So I'm going to take this out and just make it a speed light. So we're going to do the exact same sequence just to demonstrate. Here's your now trendy on camera flash. All right. But, boom, right? It's flat. What's that?
It's a nice picture, I like that.
You like that? Yeah? You like that look? All right. I mean, different strokes for different folks, but, you know, I'm going to go for the layers. So let's do this. Boop, boop. Now, we'll do the same thing again. All right, Giselle. So I want you to come all the way up this time because I want to get the lights behind you. Come all the way up by me. There you go. Cool. Now this is all manual, no on-camera flash. Close this. And the damn thing dropped. It did.
You got like magnets in your hand?
I
or something? What do
swear
you-
something's going on. So Giselle, just stand right here. I'm moving something. Okay, it's still there,
I got to take that cable.
right? Let's see it populate. Now why isn't it populating?
Just in case, let's just take that cable down.
We're staying connected. It's writing.
Is it? I'm telling you, take the cards out. It's probably getting stuck through the cards. That's what I would do.
I've never done that. Usually I shoot the
Yeah.
three things. No card in the camera. Oh yeah, now I.
No, I won't tether at all.
No. I got to change that setting because I have it set so where I can't.
I'm telling them to take the cards out because with other tethering
Yeah,
softwares,
sometimes.
they go through the cards first, then to the computer, and they get hung up. So sometimes you take out that, it'll simplify the equation.
So shooting without memory card, I got to change. That's tools.
Worst case, I can bring it out of the. It happens, guys. It happens.
No, it does. If I was with a client, I wouldn't keep going tethered. We would have.
You just go to card, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
There's no reason to keep them waiting. Do.
You guys have any
Where is
lighting
that?
questions while he's pushing buttons and spinning dials?
Yeah, I don't remember what menu that's in. Frickin' thing.
And for you guys in the chat, I appreciate you sticking with us.
Yeah, thank you.
This is what live is.
Right?
None of that polished stuff. None of that click
So
and it's
Get
retouched.
you
and
to
smile
stand
stuff.
right there again. And take just a shot to make sure. Yep, that populated. Okay. So you're right there. Good. I just want to get the lights behind you. And keep walking away. Walking. There you go. Good. All right. Those all came in.
Yeah, man.
Woo! Taping it helped,
Memory cards.
right? So this is not an on-camera flash, right? These are just these two lights. Now you could refine that. This is a small space. We could shape it by going one light, but the background is what's nice. We're blending with the overhead lights, right? Color temperature wise. That's what I mean, is we found that right color balance, which is 90% daylight, and we're letting everything else go where it's at. Her flesh tone is good, right?
Someone's asking, what is the least amount of lights you can get away with to shoot a wedding with, do you think?
Well, the least amount of lights you could get away with is one on camera and have an assistant with one off, or just like a cheetah stand that you could run and pop the lights down and photograph if you're solo. The only danger with that is liability. The minute you pop a light stand, let's say you're on a dance floor or something and a guest walks into it, well, now you're in trouble, right? I never want anybody to get hurt. So that's why it's best, like this technique, everything is off and in the corners of the room. There's nothing impeding anybody's safety. And then I sandbag them, right? In case someone does, a server goes, oh, bonk, walks into them, I don't want a tree of lights to go crashing down, right? So the lights are working great. Let me just pull up these examples again. Oh, man.
Really?
Yeah, I'm having all kinds of gremlins. It doesn't like your tether.
Well, maybe the space
I
doesn't
don't
like
know.
Yeah.
My computer, right? That, open. I've never had this many gremlins.
Happens to a lot of guys.
Yeah, I know. Not Adorama Live. Here, I convince you to let me come play in your house and nothing but gremlins.
Someone's asking for the on-camera flash stuff. Would a client usually ask you to open up those shadows in post?
No, because they wouldn't see that. It would be all done, right? It would be this. This is what we're going to deliver. These are edited, finished photos, right? Here I'm now out of my headspace, so to speak, because I'm worried about this thing being tethered and showing you guys the images, and I'm not dialing in my lights. That's where you lose sight of the moment. As I said before, if something's not working, stop doing it.
Let's shoot the card and do out of HDMI, right? That way you can at least shoot and just keep going.
Yeah.
All right. You got cards in there?
Yep.
Yep.
This is the cable. I just want to know where I'm at. Cool. Take this one out.
Yeah. And then just hit play after you shoot.
Good idea.
Pros
don't trip
always deliver.
right?
May not be the way you expected,
No excuse.
but you deliver, right? And in this house, we create no matter what, apparently.
So let me see. Where's my playback?
You got nothing coming out of it?
I'm plugged in. Camera's on. I hit play. It's going somewhere.
Oh, I just saw something come up. No?
Oh, there it is.
Oh, that's weird. It's only running through the stream, but not the TVs now? What is this?
I broke your whole system.
Yeah, I think you got to go in the Oh, no, there. They're just,
Oh, that's weird.
they're just not rotating. Oh my God. Can you just... From now on, it's capture one only.
Right? Oh, yeah, it's back there too. Cool.
Yep, you're up.
Okay. All right.
Well, you just lost it again.
No, I moved.
Old radiation hands, Bob, we call him. Oh, you're back. You're back.
I got to hold
Do
it.
me a favor. Run this and keep your pinky. Take that pinky on there and just keep it.
For moving.
Yeah.
Cross your fingers.
Oh, man. All right. You've
where the
dethroned
hell
Daniel
am I?
Norton for the guy that gives me the most grief.
All right, Giselle, turn your feet toward the wall, please. Yep. And look over your shoulder toward me. Now, I'm going to refine, and I'm going to take my B light and turn it off, and we're just going to use the C and the D light. Oh, I can't see anything.
No. Oh, come
It cut out my viewfinder. Hey, wait. Can I do it like this? Oh, I'm not level. This is like a giant iPhone now. Oh, shit. Sorry.
Bob, you're fired.
I hear you.
All right. Oh,
Yeah, see, now this is way dark. Wait. We'll just jack the ISO even though I can't see nothing.
EV comp is negative 1/3.
Yeah, but I'm manual on the flashes. Oh, try and get level. Man,
That is crazy.
right? Every connection. It's yours. It's your cables. It's not
It's
me.
Canon, don't
It's your
start with
cables. See, there you go. That's better.
There's got to be an HDMI output setting in that camera to allow you to see.
There you go. Color's good. Info's good. Yeah. That's the ticket. Man, I'm going to need a martini after this. Who's buying? So, the lights are working. The camera's working. It's the damn cables. Cable management.
Oh, hold on. Don't start.
I'm not saying your cables are bad. I brought 2 cables and they're not working too well either.
2 years of demos in here. You haven't had this. So what do we
I know,
do?
right? So what would you put the hinky on me?
I think you brought that accent to New York, and then it was like, I don't know,
don't
can't
know.
work anymore.
Hey, we could go really, Chicago Joey Bag of Donuts. Hey, I know these guys. We could go over there, and we're gonna make some really good pictures. Yeah, you see, this is what we're gonna do. All right, you're gonna sit there, and we're gonna get 3 Mike Ditkas, and they're gonna hold the background reflectors, right?
Okay.
The Bears.
So your laptop's up.
Laptop's up. Cool. So let's go back here. Lighting, one light. We light everything. Tons of light. This was a challenging shot only because that kabuki, they called it, curtain, the lit curtain behind them with the twinkle lights was that black velveteen. And then they put these twinkle lights in there. That was a highlight that had to be captured. So I had to figure out earlier in the day the exposure for that, and then make sure the lights were not skimming across that velveteen, washing out those pin lights, right? So I did that ahead of time because that was a big deal for the couple. And then we kept the lights aimed, like this is our background. We totally made sure no light was gonna hit that curtain. And we just used the appropriate ISO just to get those pin lights to illuminate, right? So 1250 was great. 3.2, off-camera flashes, again, were 8th power, filtered totally away aimed away from the background. So we didn't put any light on there and mess up that curtain. And I threw a little speed light, another FJ80 on the little cold shoe behind her at like a 30-second power just to pop her off the background, off of the black, because there was so much darkness in here. Oh yeah, I take pictures of all my bags. Well, because when you get on a plane and you're flying here and you're like, hey, that's not going to fit. I'm like, excuse me, can I just kindly show you that it does fit, right? Talk really nice to them, don't argue with them. Right?
What's that picture you hanging out up top?
So again, coming from sports background, we do remote cameras everywhere at everything just because I've done it time and time again. So this is a technical loft at the Ritz-Carlton in Chicago. So I'm lining it up, AC power, because once you set that, this is hours before the event happens, it's got to stay powered on because then they lock that down during the event. And then you just got to remember to go up there at the end of the night to get it, right? And I think I have you get pictures like this. So it's on a Pocket Wizard because every time I photograph with my primary camera, it fires that because I want certain moments totally in sync instead of leaving it to the interval timer. I've not had any luck, again, with like a wireless app to hit the camera, communicate, turn on an interval timer and turn it off, where this is just rock solid. The Pocket Wizard, AC power, the camera's set up, focused, dialed in, ready to go. So this is me down here, and I've got the Pocket Wizard plugged into my camera, and every time I shoot, I usually have two remotes, an overall and then a Hoopa cam, right?
One that you were taking?
Yeah, this is the overall event. This is the up top. Yeah, that's up top looking down. This is me here. This is the Hoopa cam. So we have a camera mounted because I don't want to be during the ceremony up underneath the Hoopa, the wedding canopy, and it's in silent mode. And then I get out of that area and here's the exact same moment. So you're getting the same moment from multiple points of view. The live camera runs the light. Remember I said at the beginning of this, the flashes, your off-camera flashes, could only listen to one transmitter at a time. They can't answer to multiple lights. So if I needed the remote camera to light, either I would fire it solo or it would have to have its own set of lights as well. And this is what the beauty, great example of the triangle of light, is the layers in the background. It's not dark, but we're not overpowering the scene. And you see the rim light on people. That gives us that illusion of depth. We work in a two-dimensional medium. So this brings some depth to the image with layers of light. It's like cinema.
Your light on the ceiling as well?
This is not, that's a spot. That's a hot spot. I have a light you can see over here. That's the C light. The D light is way over in this corner here, and an on-camera flash, and then the B light, left, right of the stage, B and C and D. Yeah. Dark venues, right? So when there's so much darkness in there, you can't get that depth with just one flash or available light. So again, multiple off-camera flash. This is a remote, right? Because here's me, right in here. So that's the remote. There I am in the back, right? So I use remotes often. All in camera, right? We like to tell a couple stories. This couple, I asked them, how'd you meet? They work in an office building. They met while sharing a cab. And I'm like, okay, that's a cool story. Let's take a picture of you guys sharing a cab, romantic cab ride. And he was like, I don't want a picture of us just standing by a taxi cab or just sitting in the back of a cab. I'm like, oh no, I got an idea. We're gonna mount the camera. You know how hard it is these days to find a yellow taxi cab? And then well, in Chicago, at least they're all Priuses now.
When does Chicago count? I don't understand. When did Chicago ever count? I don't know.
You still have yellow cabs here?
Oh yeah.
Yeah?
Absolutely. We have yellow cabs, green cabs.
Oh, man, it's-
Revel cars.
They're usually these little green and white Priuses now. There's no more classic taxis and hard to find. So when I did find one, and I hired the guy, had to pay him a little bit more, mounted a camera on the trunk. It's fired with a pocket wizard. And this is with the Canon Speedlight. So it has a Speedlight transmitter in the hot shoe, talking to the flash inside the cab with a dome, gaff taped to the partition, all manual, polarizer filter on the lens to minimize the reflection, cleaned the window both inside and out. And then we just drove around, right? Aperture priority, because I wanted the shutter speed to drag and rear curtain sync. So this is like a half a second, right? But the flash freezes them, but that really is the motion of the car going. This isn't, created in post. Nothing against that, but that's just a different technique that I don't happen to do.
Like a movie poster. It's not-
Yeah, that's the goal, right? And everything, even a scene like this, you might think, why light it? You got tons of window light coming in from one side, right, of the room. But what happens is that fall off is so rapid that the shadows get dark really quick. So if we're doing available light, you got to decide, how do I balance that? Sometimes then if you open it up enough and shoot to the right, your highlights are a little hot and your shadows are a little dark, and then you got to fudge it or fix it in post. Put up 2 speed lights in the room, in the corners of the room, and let them be an accent to the ambient light in the room. And look at all there's detail in the hair and the shadows. That's not opened up, that's lit that way, right? Now, when you're starting out doing stuff like this, TTL could be your friend. The challenge with TTL, when you give it up to an automatic setting, is it's trying to think for you. So if we're here with the camera shooting, what is this, F4? F2, okay. There's a 28 to 70, yeah, F2. Anyways, that furthest away light needs to give you that value of light output. Remember, ISO is how sensitive your camera is to light. Aperture is the output you're asking from the flash, and shutter speed is the light in the room, right? So if you want to ratio your flashes, your light, to the ambient light, first set your ISO, then adjust your shutter speed, right? If I wanted to shoot this at f8, this one's 3.5, we're blending the window light, but we filled in the shadow side with bounce flash, off camera, right? Balance it out. Same thing here, there's window light, and there's just a kiss of light from a flash in the other corner of the room. So we're always adding some kiss of light in the space. It makes it easier for editing. This is an elevator with some cool writing on it, and thought it'd be a cool portrait. So boom, one high off-camera flash with a grid on it, just really quick, down and dirty. That's where the modeling light is super handy. You activate the modeling light, and then you could see where your reflections are gonna be, all dialed in color. Okay. Thoughts, questions? Even this is lit, right? Just filling in the harshness from the overhead sun so that they don't have raccoon eyes.
Someone's
Ethan had deep set eyes.
Someone's asking, what kind of camera remote do you use?
The camera remotes I found to be most stable are Pocket Wizard. There's all kinds of cool camera remotes out there, but remember, all the newer ones are on 2.4 gigahertz. So is everything else. When I'm at a venue, the band is on 2.4. The lighting, the pin spots, everything, the little kicker lights around the room, they're all controlled with the 2.4 gigahertz. Sometimes that remote is not reliable. The great thing about Pocket Wizard is they're like 350, 400 megahertz. So there's nothing down there anymore.
Yeah, Pocket Wizard actually owns the frequencies that are only found in airspace, so that's why they're reliable down here.
Yeah, they are super reliable. And that's when I want it to fire, right? I want it to fire when I want it to fire. If you're getting into remote cameras, starting out, pick up a camera with an interval timer. Put a big memory card in there and have it shoot a picture every 1, 3, 5 seconds. There's a certain client that I have, we put a carriage camera. They have a large property. He collects these antique English carriages. They have horses. So they go around the property in a procession, right, for their events. There, I'm going to be way out of range from my distance to them for the pocket wizard, and sometimes they get way ahead of me or I'm not in the right position. That's when I'll use an interval timer and just set it up to go every 2 seconds. And then you just pick the best possible moment. Put it in silent mode. Sure, I tell them it's there. They know it's there. And then you get these great moments, right? So just think through the shot. I always like to work backwards from the picture I'm trying to get, right? Even this, dappled sunlight, even it out. Boom, 2 FJ400s. And when I'm running around doing stuff like this, I'm not carrying umbrellas. We have the Magmod XL. It's just a bigger version of these. And it fits on the Bowens mount or Profoto mount. But 2 of those, nice soft kiss of light, and everybody has nice eyes. There's a little highlight in the eye, right?
You also get rid of all that green from the leaves.
Yeah, you do. That comes down, and it evens out that dappled light where you'll have hot spots. And if you, again, expose for the available light on their faces, that dappled light is going to be very hot spot. And this is kind of what separates us from everybody else in our neck of the woods, right? Even this is lit with a triangle of light outside, right? It's just filling it in. Love when they do these all outside, but all lit. You could see everybody's eye. You know, that's really cool. You could see there's 2 pin spots of light, one left, one right, because I had 2 flashes, you know. Questions, recap, how we go about it, right? Foundation. Always start with your ISO for the space you're in, right? If we're in here and we want decent recycle time, I'm going to start off, no reason to do anything less than 800, 400. We're trying to light a space. This is small, what we're doing here. So you could do 400, 200, plenty of power, right? But when I'm lighting a venue, then we're going to have a higher a higher ISO, so we get that output from the flash, making the camera more sensitive to light. So a ballroom like this. This is lit. You know, there's 3 lights in here that is working with the light in the space. So again, ISO, this one was 1250, right? Then we go color. What's the color temperature of the space, the dominant color temperature? Yes, there is a lot of purples and blues, but the overall color temperature in the whites were from the candles and tungsten lighting. So it's tungsten gelled, right? If we didn't light this, the way the sun was coming here, there would be no detail behind them like that. Unless we do a lot of massaging on the file later, right? Masking, dodging, burning. Lighting just really, once you get into it, it helps with everything. What's that?
Shot you just showed, how do you light that big group?
We're blending the light, the daylight. So the question was with the big group, let's pull that back up. So again, that's why I said we want to start off with the ISO. We find our base exposure and decide what do we want to do. Do we need to overpower that light or do we need to complement that light? In this situation, it's just a slight kiss. It's not even letting TTL at full 0 because it would overpower and want to fill in too many shadows, right? I've done this so long, I could look at that with my Canon cameras and say, okay, I'm going to go -1 1/3 on TTL with the off-cam flash. No, these are off. There's 3. I didn't need the on-camera for this because I didn't want a hot spot right on the people's heads right here, right? There's sunlight coming at me, and I have a D light just like we have here, that one over there, and 2 up at the front off to the sides. Boom, boom, boom. But we didn't have to do any heavy lifting in the front because the sun has given us that rim light coming towards us. All I wanted to do was even it out a little bit by filling in the background, the back way, right? Different angle. There's one wedding. Let me get to my desktop here just to show you really quick. That was really a challenge. Everything was black. They had the first time I've ever encountered black candles. So the deal with black candles is when the wick burns down, I didn't know this till I encountered this, the light gets dimmer because the wax is black around it, so the light recedes. So you start getting less candlelight output. I'd never experienced that before. Usually when we do candles, they're white and they're tapered. And when they burn, it burns down. The whole thing keeps glowing. So that, we're going on through the night. We're like, why does it keep getting darker?
You got to shoot more Halloween stuff, man. I don't tell you.
Sure. So yeah, the whole thing was black. Black curtains, black lacquer floor, literally two spotlights in the room. That was it, right? So it was zero light for us to really work with. So at the reception, where's a room shot? You know, the candles are black. Here is on-camera flash fill, and the 3 lights off camera, tungsten, white balance, everything's gelled. Because the only lights in this space were from the band. The band had 2 spotlights that would shine out into the crowd. Otherwise, it was a cave, right? What do you think about the depth? What do you think about the look? It's layers of light, right? Does it feel flat to you? No, right? Does it feel like direct on-camera flash? Because it's multiple lights, and we're not using just our flashes. That's why I said I always start with that black frame, ISO, color, baseline exposure, and then we want to decide how much do we want to fill that in, or how little do we want the flashes to contribute. And, you know, it's just dynamic.
The reception type back here, do you modify them in any way?
Yeah, with the dome, just like this, but with a tungsten gel. So our lights are gonna, like in here, when in the beginning, we did the tone of the room, so to speak, there was more daylight white balance lights than there were tungsten. And anything that's gelled, you let go, right? It's gonna go where it's gonna go. We want blue. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you just, you know, here you could see, you can't even see the candles. The highlights are on these gold centerpieces from our flashes, but you can't even see the candles because they're black. 2 minutes. So just think, this is not wedding lighting. I just happen to have a lot of current wedding work that I'm sharing. My recent corporate events, I can't show. They're under NDA, you know, so I'm showing you the wedding work. This technique will work anywhere for any event, or in a situation where your subject isn't static, meaning they're gonna be here, they're gonna be over here, they're gonna be over here, right? So you can't set up a big light modifier and set it for that, like a portrait, like we could do here. That's a different style of lighting, right? We do the portraits, but once it becomes an event, then we wanna add depth and dimension, right? Of course.
Do you put the lights like three corners of a square? You put 2 on either side of the front stage and
Correct.
the back on
Correct.
both sides?
On either side. Yep. Yep. And again, I sandbag them, and they're out of traffic. The lights at the front by the band are behind their speakers. Light stand is tall enough to go over their speaker, not in front of it. Last thing I want is for someone to get hurt, right? 10 feet? No, that's 12. These are 12. The stackable Manfrottos. Yeah. And they're sturdy enough. I have to use these because oftentimes we'll have 3 photographers at an event, and they'll hold the weight of 3 flashes, speed lights. So, or 3 FJ200s. Usually, so our crew, I run FJ200, Larry runs an FJ200, and John, he runs all Profoto. He's Sony, and he likes the Profotos, and he'll run the A10s. So we'll have all 3 on one light stand. Yeah, works out, it's solid. And as long, again, weight the base, right? In case somebody bumps into it. Here you could see our D light in the background, right? It's manual mode, it doesn't bother me. You know, they keep moving, but we keep the same quality of light on them. So I've done this technique like I said, when optical first came out, TTL, you just had to keep 2 lights in front of you. You really couldn't have 1 light behind you. You could, but then you'd have to turn your on-camera flash backwards to give the instructions to that flash to fire. And then Radio Popper came about. That made things easier. Before Radio Popper, I used Pocket Wizards. Everything's manual. Now what's cool about Pocket Wizards is you could blend lighting systems. If you have a mix of flashes, you can use them all, or any radio trigger. Just pick a radio trigger that gives you groups that you could turn on that light or turn it off if you don't want it, just by pressing the button instead of having to go touch it. Now, when you're using a radio interpreter that's not native, your lights are manual, and all you can do is turn them on and off. You can't change the power up or down, right? Once you set the power level, they're set. So there's times I've blended Westcott, Profoto, Canon. I've just used the Radio Poppers to unify them all, right? When I needed a big space. Boom, 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 cool. Thoughts, questions, anything in the feed? No?
Last question is what density CTO to use, full, half, quarter?
What density CTO? I don't use any CTO. Oh, sorry. I'm thinking neutral
You
density.
have
filter.
CTO.
Yeah.
Hold on,
Fine.
man.
No, you're right. You're right.
I'll give you tether issues, but not gel issues. That's CTO.
Sorry, I don't know why I was thinking of neutral density filter. Correct. Yeah, good question about CTO filters. There is a difference. Roscoe filters I like. Lee filters I do not like. And these are full, correct. I carry full, correct to orange and half. The reason I don't like Lee, unless everybody's using Lee, for whatever reason, they put green in the CTO. So we had one photographer that just bought some cut sheet like I do, and he bought Lee, and we're having to pull green out of all of his files. We're both Canon, both 2900 degrees Kelvin. You know, I finally had to shoot a color chart, do a test, like, holy crap, the Lees have a green tint to them in their full CTO. So if you know that, then you have the white balance preset in your camera, white balance bracket adjust, and you add magenta to counteract that green, or put a filter over the lens. The Roscoes are just so easy. I know you're a big proponent, I am too, of Cinefoil, yep. I always have a stash of that in the bag if you need to flag a light, you need to create a snoot. He's got a great program on just using Cinefoil, and it just lasts. There you go, right? 1,000,001 uses. Creatively, you can put a bunch of pinholes in it, put a flash behind it. It could be a background. I mean, just one of those MacGyver tools that's great to have in your bag, because you could bend it, shape it, and then fold it back out, and it lasts forever. I've got a roll that's got to be 15 years old. You know, you just take off so much and it lasts. All right. Cool. Thank you so much. Sorry for the technical issues. If you have any questions, drop them in the feed. I'll go back through it. I'll answer them. Plagued by technology.
Thank you, Giselle. And thank you, guys. We'll see you on the next one. All right, guys?
Thank
Hit
you.
subscribe.
Thank you. I appreciate it.